whatever it is certainly TORG Eternity. The recap of bits of the story so far. So last week, our intrepid group of Storm Knights found themselves still stranded in the midst of the Atlantic Ocean, in the middle of a midnight storm. The electricity of the Zeppelin had been cut out by some kind of horror-driven interloper. You tracked the gaseous creature down to the top of the Zeppelin, and most of you ventured outside to take the creature out, finding that its location on one of the outer hull receptacles on top of the envelope of the Zeppelin had been breached by probably a lightning strike, both activating the creature within, giving it a source from whence it would build its body, the hydrogen from one of the buoyancy sacs of the Zeppelin, but at the same time it had triggered some kind of defense in the form of one of those creepy nightmare trees that you've encountered so far. The tree and the creature were defeated, and ultimately, when you got back down into the Zeppelin, they were neutralized. However, while you had been up top, it would seem that Durac, alone as he was, minding his own business in the darkness of the gondola, was interrupted while trying to eat the sandwich he had made for himself by an unexpected visitor. None other than, it would seem, the gaunt man himself, summoned for reasons that you still do not know, with questions, both to be given and quite happy to answer in return. Durac had a try at teaching the High Lord of Arosh a lesson in pain, but it would seem the gaunt man has met sturdier foes than Sergeant Blackaxe, and like for like, in return, he disabled the stalwart dwarf with a few simple touches of his hand, rendering Durac insensate with wounds and agony. But despite that, the stalwart dwarf had resisted the Dark Lord's requests, offers, and cajoling, and at least in himself feels that his honour was upheld. When you found him, he was unconscious and barely clinging on to life. Theo was able to revive him with miraculous application of power. The remnants of that encounter were some information from Durac to yourselves. The fact that Durac is still 2 wounds down, I believe, as at this present time, the vast majority of the injuries, when the gaunt man simply placed his hand upon your breastplate, are still burned into the flesh beneath. And the following day dawned uneventfully. Durac, what sleep you did get, if any, you were plagued somewhat with nightmarish visions. Just sharing the Zeppelin again. But it is a new scene and a new act. We're going to be a bit loose with the acts for the first bit of today, but we'll worry about cards and everything else as and when they become appropriate later in the session. Okay. Theo continues his somewhat dichotomous prayer. Lord, I am faithful. This guy isn't. Please help him. He doesn't deserve it, but he should really have it. After another night's rest, you'll get a healing roll anyway, Durac. But Ryoko, Dr. Dick, you're able to continue to plot your course, and the decision was that you would be continuing onwards, not turning back again, but continuing onwards towards the coast of Africa. And this you do. The weather is significantly better. the energy reserves of the Zeppelin appear to be dwindling slowly, but nowhere near fast enough to create any kind of issue with your calculations, Dr. Sanders. And you continue, you hit the coast of West Africa, and then again, because you were advised to do so by your Delphi Council high-ups, Dr. Zitalis and Queen Sebastian, some others, you begin to tack north, following the coastline up and around. About 3 days of travel up the African coast, and you find yourselves heading towards the coast ahead of Morocco. You've been monitoring some of the newscasts because you're back into core Earth at this point. So you've been monitoring various news stations, trying to keep track of what's been going on within the war while you've been around. There are some more reports from a couple of weeks back of attempted attacks in Paris by groups loyal to the Pope, Jean-Paul Malraux. A group called the Hands of God attempted a coup in Paris, but you were happy to hear that it would seem that your erstwhile allies in that area have been able to hold them off to that degree. There are some reports from Delphi sources that their forces on Cuba, particularly the group of army led by a handful of Storm Knights that have been holding the location Cuba Guantanamo Bay, had a surprise assault by a significant force of Barak Kar's Red Jaw Adinos. You haven't got any detail yet about whether so the forces held off, but it does coincide with some significant information you've been getting about Cuban refugees heading to the eastern end of the island in readiness for some planned evacuation at some point in the future. You do get some limited information coming in from Isle as well, where towards the end of your journey's approach to Morocco, there are apparently resistant forces growing or forming on the island of Ireland. Particularly, there are a group of Fae calling themselves Fianna, who are making growing resistance forces within Dublin itself.
Are they Dublin?
But you are getting
the resistance?
Yeah, you are. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no.
Yeah, just near Dublin. They've been attacking on the dark forces near Dublin. However, the information coming out of Isle isn't great. It would seem that a majority of Belfast lies in ruins and is still being claimed as the personal domain of a great flaming dragon of enormous size.
No change there, then.
Yeah, potentially. And you're getting various reports from the Far East. Ryoko, you're paying particularly close attention to these. It would seem that the contagion that has been kept mostly under control in Japan and some of the areas of East China is spreading quite quickly down the coast towards and through Thailand and heading towards India. It would seem that the Kanawha Corporation and various other groups are assisting all the local governments in those areas and stepping in when the governments themselves are unable to maintain public order. And in a lot of the newscasts you're hearing, so you haven't got any visuals on these, you're hearing that the insignia of the Kanawha security forces are becoming ubiquitous with law enforcement throughout the Pan-Pacifican region. As I said, you're just heading towards Morocco. You're deciding to push on into the night at this point. When tell me who would be manning the radio point. relatively late evening.
I've volunteered Dr. Dick because he knows what he's doing.
Okay.
We don't want anyone who's getting like disconnects using the radio.
Okay, so you're letting the primitives stay away from the radio. There's only two of you. Abram might have some issues with this tech level as well. There's a familiar buzz, which informs you that there's an incoming signal. It's on a pre-arranged Delphi Council channel. You punch it in. It's midway through what appears to be a repeating message. So it would appear to be recorded. You wait for the message to get to the end, and it starts again. And it's this is Delphi calling bad dice. Delphi calling bad dice. There is a package to retrieve at Casablanca Station. Please ensure package is retrieved. Imperative. Repeat. Please ensure package is retrieved. Code name, Thoth. And yes, you are bad dice. You decided that was your group name a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, it's good. Could we say that Sam is doing it? Because then Dr. Dick has the idea to say, because of Casablanca, play it again, Sam.
You can say that Sam's in the room if you really want to do that horrible pun, but fine. And it repeats anyway without your involvement. At your current position, you get some coordinates. Casablanca Station. You look, and it's actually a small airfield. In Casablanca, just in off the coast of Morocco. You will get there if you continue flying at the speed you're at within the next few hours. So it will be the early hours of night when you arrive. I assume you're following the instructions. Yeah, you can have a possibility for the bad pun. Everyone's possibility should be reset to norm, by the way.
Okay.
Which is 3, unless you've got perks or other items that mean you've got a higher starting possibility pool.
What about wounds?
By this point, if Theo hasn't been able to recover you entirely, which you might have been able to, just give us a simple strength check, which is a basic recovery check, DC 10, and you recover a wound if you succeed on that anyway. There you go. So you're unwounded at this point. Yeah. So it still aches. I mean, and you look at it, and you're a dwarf. You're quite hirsute. Okay, you've got hair pretty much covering most of your body. However, there is now a thin, elegant hand imprint on your chest where the hair isn't growing back.
Okay.
Good.
So
Has it got fingerprints on it?
Touch at the chin.
He did touch him on the chin, but that's healed properly. He ran one of his fingers down the left-hand side of Durak's face, but that appears to have healed. Okay, no damage to your marvelous dwarven beard.
Yeah, none of you are looking at my body.
So, in the early hours of the morning, you approach the limited lighting of Casablanca Station beneath you. It looks like a pretty bare core earth airfield. There are a handful of local planes parked up, nothing big, nothing military. The coolness of the night air, there is a light mist shrouding the place. There's maybe 3-4 warehouse type buildings. You can see the off of one of these, there's a small attempt at a radio tower, comes up no more than maybe 25-30 feet off the floor. And as you come in to approach a local accented voice, so does request landing clearance from you. They don't appear to be surprised that you're flying a Zeppelin. And you are able to come in to land.
Did we ever find out who owned this Zeppelin? Was there paperwork or anything? Because the got man says it was an ally of his. So.
Yeah, a minion of an ally of his.
Oh, a minion of the ally of his.
That would be Cloudmaster, the gentleman with the force field and the jetpack who you managed to drive off back in the Yucatan.
Who was his master?
He was continually ranting about being a minion of the glorious Pharaoh Mobius.
At least he wasn't a strawberry.
No, but he escaped as well. And
All
you
right.
have assumed from some other bits and pieces, considering there was a reference in the message that you found as part of the cargo docket about the present that was left, that it would appear, or you have assumed or ascertained, that the seed and the tree and the box were intended for Barrett Carr, the tyrant lizard. So you have at least managed to prevent one High Lord from getting a gift from another being delivered via a third.
Was Sam the gift?
No, the gaseous horror that came off
okay.
would appear to be you determined as a modified Gospog seed.
We still don't know why Sam's.
No, Sam's reappearance remains a complete mystery. Sam himself cannot even recall the what happened in the events running up to that point. So you bring the airship to a light halt. A guy in dungarees and a dirty overall, looks to be in his maybe mid-60s, thinning hair, runs out, grabs one of the guy lines and looks around because he doesn't really have anything to tie it off, sees there's a fuel truck and he ties it off against a fuel truck, which appears to at least be able to anchor you. It's quite a large vehicle. And then he turns around, wipes his greasy hands on his trousers, and looks towards whoever is getting off of the gondola. Who is getting off the gondola?
I don't mind getting off the gondola. Is it safe to get off the gondola, or is it dangerous? I'm going the safe way.
It's about 2 feet off the floor.
Sounds easy to reach. I will get off the gondola, and then I will basically hug the floor. Thank you, floor.
The old man looks over at the dwarf on the floor and again, accented English. He's like, "Are you bad dice?"
No, I am direct.
We got a parcel here. Well, a crate for a group who call themselves Bad Dice.
Oh, that is us.
Yep, that would be us.
Okay, I'll be glad to get it off my hands because since we've been storing it here, had it the last few days, some weirdness has been going on here. Come on, I'll show you where it is. And he gestures, turns around, begins to walk to one of the warehouse buildings.
Okay. Yeah, but weirdness. What's weirdness? It's the smell. It's like burning. Like, you know. Let's go and see.
Things keep going wrong, he calls back over his shoulder.
Oh, that's okay. We're used to that.
He leads you into one of the warehouse buildings. It doesn't appear to be very full. There are set up in a grid pattern, and here and there you can see pallets of goods and water, survival gear, some building materials, and over towards the back there is a wooden crate with paint stenciled or burned into the side of it. It's about 4 feet long by about 2.5 by 2.5 feet square. And he goes, "That's it. Some strange guy, looked like a professor of some kind, dropped it off and told me to give it to Dr. Sanders. I need somebody to sign for it."
Mr. Sanders, do you want to sign for it?
Yeah, sure. Oh wow, this is some real Indiana Jones stuff. Sure, I'll sign it.
He hands you a clipboard.
Did you say
Doesn't hand
G.I.
you a
Joe?
pen. He said Indiana Jones.
Oh, Indiana. That's my hearing.
We'll assume Dr. Dick always has a pen of some kind on him.
Yeah.
You are apparently signing for an item of archaeological significance. That is exactly what it says on the inventory.
Huh.
Does
Curious.
it look like an arc ship?
It would be too small to be arc-shaped.
Just making sure here. Just making sure.
But now you say that, not that Durac would get the significance, on the side, you don't know if it's been done or possibly someone's playing a joke on you. It would appear that some of what's been written on the side has actually been burned away.
Well, what more does it say then? Like, is there a way to figure it out?
It just says this is, you sign for it, an item of archaeological significance. It's got the dimensions of the bundle. It's got the delivery date, which was 3 or 4 days ago. You look, and it does have a signature that you recognise, Dr. Sanders, the signature of Dr. Zytelius, who is your erstwhile protege, who is the head of Archimedes Division of the Delphi Council. And it's at that point you suddenly click that you think you know what it might be.
Oh, hey, not clicking.
He did say that he would be getting you the other statuette before you arrived in Cairo.
Oh, this must be the statuette. The other one. Let's look at it.
When you say statuette, what was the other one? The first one was?
The first one that you've got stored somewhere on the Zeppelin is a 3, maybe 4 foot tall, rough carved statuette of Sebek, the crocodile god from Egyptian myth.
Yeah, I remember that one now. And this will be the second one. And what was the second one, though? I thought he said last week what the second one was.
He did reveal to you, and Abram and a couple of others had recalled some detail that if this is the second idol, this would be the one that was retrieved from the west coast of India at a location called Kali Station. And apparently it was a similarly sized, crudely carved idol of the god Thoth, Thoth, the ibis-headed god. Everyone give me a reality skill check while you're clustered around the crate.
Which one's Ibis? Is that the cat?
No. Ibis is a water bird.
Oh, a bird.
The cat would be bass.
Right, so I'm just looking for real. Oh, if we're in a new act, am I +2? Or am I a third act done of the 4 acts?
You are, the mini one counted as, so at the end of that, yes, your count went up, ticked up to 2. So at the end of this, it will tick, at the end of the current act, it will tick up to 3.
Oh, okay. Still 2 then.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 3 ads on your reality skill. It's just your 4th ad won't come back until the end of the 4th act.
Yeah. I was just making sure.
Okay, well, with an expenditure for possibility, it looks like Dr. Dick succeeded as well. You all got over 10. Again, as you're discussing this, you're suddenly thinking to yourself, oh yeah, and you can feel that same. The reason why you didn't really notice it is you've gotten used to being in a Nile Empire mix zone while you've been on the Zeppelin. So you barely noticed as you crossed the airfield, there was a point where Core Earth reasserted itself, and that background sort of action thrill pulsing through you faded slightly, but only for a brief second as you literally passed into a second field of the same ideal. So it would appear that the statue of Thoth is also emanating or radiating a Nile Empire mixed zone about it.
Oh, was few. Okay.
So I assume you're just going to take the parcel back onto the ship, yeah? Right, your reality skill's high enough. I'm sure you're not going to cock it up.
Well, sorry.
You ready? Oh, boo.
Let's bring it on the ship. Get it over with. But
Well,
what happens?
Can I ask,
Sorry, go
was
on.
one of the things that kept going wrong that it sets fire to things?
The guy looks at you and says, and looks when you realise, oh, you're talking about that? Yeah, no, that was, it wasn't necessarily setting fire to nothing, but I was moving some stuff around and it fell over and I went to get the fire extinguisher. By the time I got the fire extinguisher, it caught light and then the fire extinguisher wouldn't work. And then to you, Sam, this sounds absolutely normal. When things go wrong in your reality, they tend to go wrong in the most dramatic way possible. And it would appear that this gentleman just doesn't know how to cope with a crisis. He's obviously not got the backbone that is needed to become a true hero. And he does just seem to be eager for you to get this troublesome artifact off his hand.
And what is the what would the Subek one does? Does the Subek one do anything bad, good, or anything to us?
Oh, thus far, you touched it and got overwhelmed with some feels from the Nile Empire reality as a whole. But thus far, all you've seen is it's emanating the Nile Empire reality itself. So anything that has occurred when things have got particularly, in quotes, dramatic, thus far you've assumed that's just been a result of the underlying basic oeuvre of the Nile Empire reality itself.
So what happened? What do you reckon? Let's get the two statues and touch each other and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what I was gonna say. It. What? You're not? I don't know. Oh, what? Never. Yeah. Well.
So you drag the crate back to the Zeppelin.
I don't think the wood around the statue's doing anything, but guys.
It's crowbarable, the top. It's nailed shut.
The point is, Jurek, just because you wanted to do the same thing as me doesn't mean you're smart, okay?
Oh, so, what? I think I think I am quite smart. I don't know what but I am.
John, is there anyone on this airfield that can make a basic check on the Zeppelin after all we have been through?
Shipworthy or whatever.
Or something could be arranged. The gentleman you've been talking to has introduced himself as hang on, I've got his name written down somewhere.
Akband.
Valmy. Valmi. It says, well, I don't know much about airships, but what do you want to check for?
We had some trouble with the buoyancy device. Yeah.
Okay.
The balloons.
He says he'll see what he can do. I've assumed that Dr. Dick has probably managed repairs in the intervening time, so it's not been leaking helium up until that point. After a couple of hours crawling around, Volmy comes back. It seems okay. I mean, you've got some evidence that you had some burn damage up on the top. Everything, as far as I can see, is in working order.
Perfect.
You say helium?
Hydrogen.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I heard helium from somewhere. I don't know where. I think my brain's going mental. Let's get them 2 statues together and see what happens. Where will we do it? Out here or inside the ship?
It would be fun if it had been leaking helium, though.
Yes, because the gaseous horror would have had the double effect of making you all speak in a very high voice.
Mhm.
So where are you? You unpack the ibis statuette, and it would appear to be in very similar style to the other one. It does appear to be a representation of the Egyptian or god Thoth. Or
Does it
you would
look like they
assume
could-
that it is a part of the Armatist religion, which is part of what holds sway within the Nile Empire.
Does it look like they could fit together? Like one of them multi-tiered statues at totems?
No, it doesn't look like it could. It doesn't look like it could be a totem. There's no flatness on top of Sebek's head, or no appropriate space at the bottom of Ibis's hand. How close are you to putting them together?
Right now, 100% close. I don't know what if the other rest of the team are going to
Let
stop
them
us too.
kiss.
Okay, we are 100% now. No one has said negatives. There's even been a romance card played. Don't know why Ryoko wants them to kiss though.
Speaking of romance cards, we haven't gotten.
Yeah, not yet. We'll deal with that in a bit.
Because the only card I've got now is a jump scare, but it's from Orochi.
You're no longer in a rush, so that would. So while we're waiting, you can clear your cards from your hand, your pool, and the Cosm card, because we'll deal with those in a bit. You push them together. There's as they get inch closer to one another, there's the tension in the air. It builds until there's a point where you dink, and the two dark stone of the statue's faces, the long beak of Ibis, touches the truncated snout of Sebek, and it would seem that nothing happens that's immediately obvious. That was you and Dr. Dick, yeah? So that was Durak and Dr. Dick putting them together, yeah?
I definitely, yeah.
Both you two make reality skill check.
If you roll a 1 now, I'm going to kill you. And that's to myself.
Okay, you both sense it. Around the statues, maybe about a foot out from the middle point where you've got them together, the Nile Empire reality feels stronger. Not a mixed zone, but more a dominant zone. It's not huge. As I said, it's only about a foot radius around them, but there's definitely a feel that they are feeding off one another.
It was an experiment to see if they merged. They didn't.
But Dr. Zitalius had requested that Dr. Sanders spend as much time as he can studying them and potentially looking for more.
Clearly, you're not a man of science. I got to do this. I got to do it. And then I take them into the workshop. And I just start, I don't know, just trying random stuff.
Okay. So random stuff is tried. And as you're about to go into the Nile Empire, we will jump from where you are at the moment, which is the 6th of September. We will jump beyond the remainder of your trip down to the 12th of September. You have been in the Nile Empire now for a full 48 hours. And to say that it has been an eventful 48 hours is, well, not an understatement. Firstly, within a day of your arrival, after you had met Deputy Director Kenneth Nakatomi, as was previously arranged, and if you want to give me a second, I can show you what Mr. Nakatomi looks like.
Does he have a plaza?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't, but come on, should be under. Oh, hang on, categorized it. Do you know what? I'm just going to put a search for Kenneth because his name's on it, I think.
Why does that lightning bolt on the back screen look like a face now for me? Why is it now looking like a face?
That's Mr. Nakatomi. He is a gentleman of Japanese descent, in his mid-30s. He has a trim goatee, a quiet demeanour. He is a man of few words, but when he does say something, it's important. He greeted you upon your arrival and assisted in arranging for a secure berth for the Zeppelin, because it is still going to be a device that you're working with. Within the first day of arrival, everything was put into an uproar as a couple of significant events appear to have occurred in the uprun to day 165. The last of which occurs while you're in the Nile Empire. In Cairo, which is now a city of quite discrete differences, there is very little evidence of Dr. Mobius's forces. Certainly no Nile shock troopers. The 1930s architecture of central metropolitan Cairo mixed in with turn of the 19th century European architecture and archaic Egyptian statuary, especially in the temple district, is largely untouched by Mobius's armed forces. But one thing that becomes apparent is potentially the reason for that is that within 24 hours of your arrival, if I just go to sharing again and sync the client view, you can cast your mind back to the day 155 map where there was a huge gap there. It would appear that Mobius's forces have retaken Mecca. There isn't much information coming through, but the Delphi Council safe house in the area has been put into a complete uproar of chaos and unknown control. So you were left to your own devices for the first couple of days. I just remove that. Other items of note on the map, you get some information there's been a slight expansion in the isle zones. There has been a small amount of expansion within the living land sector. It would appear the Gold Sun clan have recovered from the issues that you dealt them, and they have continued their SARS fight southwards, and Guatemala is now bisected by the living land. Possibly the scariest bit, which is making you realise it's a good job we're not there, however, when you are managing to get the information put through, is that while Arosh has not extended any further, it would appear that the expansion of the zones of pure Arosh reality are expanding. The suspected infection zone within the Pan-Pacifica area is spreading across South China, and it's almost to the top of Thailand. But there are some very, very disconcerting reports coming out of the region between Burma and China. On the map, the blue spots, you are getting very, very sketchy reports of a mix between Ryoko's native reality and Abram's native reality. So you're starting to get a zombie outbreak with truly horrific undead. Any questions at all about any of that? You can ask. You've got some resources here. You've made contacts while you're here. For example, Dr. Sanders, you've been having some rather interesting conversations with Canadian, Joe Molson. You call him, his designation is Z, but he's Canadian, so Z is his designation. He is a fellow weird scientist. However, while he says he's from Canada, he also tells you he's not from your Canada. He's from a different Canada, from somewhere else.
Whoa. 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 That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird, because I'm from, some of your areas here are significantly more high-tech than where I'm from, but weird science is the way to go, so we have to do what we can,
Yeah, you're absolutely correct,
One other individual of note, you've been put in touch with a local Koroth operative, a young lady of Egyptian heritage, very much in her early 20s. Her name is Karima Bar, and she is strikingly beautiful, but she's got the most bright, almost overly bright, over-the-top green eyes. Like, not jade green, but just like green, like grass green eyes. She's a local undercover operative who regularly comes through, and she has been your contact with the local resistance forces. What they are, you can operate relatively easily within Cairo itself. As I say, there isn't a huge amount of the Pharaoh's forces in this area. It doesn't mean that incidents don't kick off. It's just what you've seen have been mafia situations, organized crime, gang violence. You've not seen, but you've heard the odd pulp villain trying to kick things off in the local area. And Deputy Director Nakatomi has given you a briefing that they are aware that the situation in Cairo is the way it is, particularly because of who the over-governor who runs the place for Pharaoh Mobius is. And that is the insidious Wu Han, who would appear to be a very, very archetypal Fu Manchu style villain. But apparently he runs the Cairo underworld with an iron fist, but allows the individuals who are dealing with the situation to just get on with it and fight amongst themselves. Did the wrong thing there.
I hope that doesn't happen to us. We wouldn't like to fight amongst ourselves, would we?
Why do you know that name? Insidious Wuhan?
Yeah, I recognise that name.
Well, Wuhan is where the coronavirus started, but that's it's absolutely completely coincidental because this character is actually from the original 90s release of TORG. I don't.
Have you mentioned him in some sort
of
story?
Think so. I've mentioned him in Discord, but not as part of the ongoing story.
In Discord, did you retail a thing you did? Regale us with some.
Might have been, yes.
Of his exploits.
So, all that being said, it's late on a Friday night, 9 in the evening, and you are currently on the outskirts of Cairo, lurking in a dark railroad switchyard. You've been told to wait here for a contact. It's quiet. It's dark. It's warm. It's Egypt.
Perfectly visible to me.
except for the occasional rumble of a passing freight train, pulled by a puffing and chugging steam locomotive. You've been standing around waiting for word on your next mission. Well, Sam, waiting is terrible for you, especially in a realm where constant action and motion rule the day, but one does what one must. Suddenly, when it seems like you can't stand one more moment of inaction, the air is filled with the desperate roar of a heavy sedan's engine getting ever closer. Headlights catch you in their spotlight glow as a car approaches. Can everyone give me a mind test as you're momentarily blinded and unable to get any detail from the car?
Don't mind me, I've no cards to use.
Well, no one's done it yet. In fact, we'll deal with that in a second. Okay, Sam, you've been in situations like this before. The telltale movement of the car, just some reflection you can see along the side of the sedan. You can see that not only is it all shot up, but there are two figures in the front seat, and the one in the passenger seat is slumped over. The vehicle covers the remaining distance to you, swerves to a nifty, tidy stop, drift, skid, brake right in front of you with 18 inches clearance to spare. The black sedan, an Allenton Roadster, is riddled with bullet holes, some of them still smoking. The engine's idling and rough as it has been subject to damage and overwork. There's what best can be described as a robot clutching the steering wheel. It's got a metal cigar in its mouth and a green news-style cap on its head. Sitting next to him, with a look of fear found only in the wide, desperate eyes of a dying man, is Daoud, the contact you're supposed to be meeting. He is bleeding profusely and clutching a dispatch envelope, which is slowly soaking up his blood. "Please," he manages to gasp. "I've been found out. They're after me. Hurry, take this." He hands the nearest person the envelope. "Robo-hack knows the way. Just tell him where to go." As he holds up the document, his eyes roll up into his head and he expires, his forehead hitting the dashboard with a solid thump. At the speed of plot. Well, at the moment he's expired in front of you, but we will, before we do anything else, we'll deal with cards.
Okay.
So you are in the Nile Empire, so the first thing you're all going to get a Nile Empire Cosm card. Don't forget,
Yay.
one of the main things about the Nile Empire is the law of inevitable return. Maybe this isn't Daoud, maybe it's Daoud's brother, or maybe it was a clone, or maybe it's a robot double. There is a robot on the other seat. Any of those things could be a case. So, going across the top, Theo, your Cosm card is inevitable return. Don't wait on NPCs, you might need it. Ryoko, yours is in the crossfire. Sam, you're getting unexpected turn. Dr. Sanders, parting shot. Abram, escape. And Durak, out of the way.
Appropriately. I think from that name, but we'll see what it reads. I mean, I'm going to read all the cards now.
Case sudden but inevitable return.
Unexpected turns never happening to me. I'm not going to use that. I'll do that ever. There it goes. Escape's nice. Parting shot, I mean.
Waiting for the drama deck to reset. Cool. So you are in the Nile Empire. For the law of action, the law of heroism, means that your destiny card hand size is increased by 1. So rather than getting 4 cards, you are each going to get 5. So Theo, your 5 are Second Chance, Coup de Grace, Connection, second wind,
Huh.
and alertness. I'll give you a second to catch up on that one. Don't worry.
Try and break it up.
You do have to do your job.
I'm reading here. I'm liking in the crossfire.
Well, they're all still there. Don't worry. Okay, so the next one is Ryoko. Your Destiny deck cards are Drama, Seize Initiative, Adrenaline, Maelstrom, and Drama. That's going nice and quick there.
That Cosm
So
card
much
is
drama.
nasty. Is really, really nasty.
Which one did you get?
The one where if we get the step C, everyone goes back to step A.
Oh, Out of the Way.
Yeah. It's good if someone that we're chasing someone and he's in step C, but it's terrible if we're trying to get step C.
Sam, your cards are
We've ever done a chase.
Willpower, Supporter, Seize Initiative, Attuned, Supporter. 5. Let me know when you've dragged all those in.
Who are we on now?
Dr. Dick. Nay, Sanders. Supporter, Close Call, Action, Willpower, and Transfer.
Abraham. I'll never get first in the picks because of the way this thing works.
Rally, Precision, Alertness, Romance, and...
Something happened at the end there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened at the end there. The rolls didn't come up with a card.
Yeah, so there's 2 cards not shown.
Yeah, don't worry about those. They didn't come up.
Oh, okay.
Done.
And
Thank you.
for Dirac, Idea card,
Player. Yeah.
Reconnect, Glory, Second Wind, and Adrenaline.
Can I name anyone with a glory card?
It would appear so, currently.
Usual.
It's very strange.
We're just going to represent the passage of time by starting us off with, once again, an appropriately named Destiny deck card. That must have hurt.
Ooh, that could be me.
So, with a dead man in the passenger seat, a robot driver, a slightly damaged vehicle, and one of you holding a DC dispatch, Delphi Council being DC, what are you doing?
Do you want? I think it's going to be Sam got it because he had the highest roll to spot to use the main thing.
Sure.
Do you want to open it, Sam?
Well, they've just been shot, riddled with bullets, so I want to check there's nothing approaching us. I mean, no obvious sounds or anything.
Can't hear anything at the moment.
All right, tear open the missive and see what it says.
There are a couple of pages within it that would immediately get read in a sort of that kind of voice. This is DC Middle East Division Dispatch. Informants and radio traffic all point to a big move by Dr. Mobius, a real Hail Mary play. Several of his favorite personal sorcerers congregating at the site of biblical Mount Sinai, attempting to ascertain via magic the location of not one but many eternity shards in one fell swoop. Possible treasures include the Spear of Longinus, a piece of the True Cross, Moses' staff, the Holy Grail, and the Ark of the Covenant. If this is true, the ritual vehicle must be disrupted at all costs. Proceed to Al Fadrin Airfield, South Suburban Cairo. Take possession of the Fokker Ramses aircraft labeled Reggie's Charter. Fly to coordinates secreted in the plane. This mission is high priority. Destroy this document after reading. End.
God.
That was brilliant. I think you deserve a possibility.
Seriously, as soon as you said the Fokker plane, I was thinking of Dr. Dick saying something.
And as you finish reading it, Sam,
I destroy it.
well, as you're thinking about destroying it, you can, as and when you want to, but literally as you finish reading it, the otherwise quiet night air is once again broken by sounds from ahead. Several more roadsters fill the damp night air with the roar of their engine. Multiple headlights light up the bullet-ridden car, courtesy of at least 3 speeding sedans. And even from this range, you can see they are brimming with Thompson machine gun wielding thugs bearing down on the group. There is a close-by click as the robotic head of the driver turns towards you and in an electronically recorded Brooklyn accent says, "Where to, yous guys?"
Alfred Airfield.
With us, get in the car first before you tell them where to go.
How big is this car?
It's big enough for all of you. It's a long sedan. So you've got, and it's an American car, so there's no gear stick in the middle. So you could get, well, if you remove the body, you could get at least 2 people in the front, and there is space for another 4 in the back.
Who's got ranged weapons that can shoot out the back window?
Yeah, I will get in the back and get out by SMG.
I will sit in the front because I do not have
loaded.
ranged weapons. Okay.
As you load in, Robohack turns and goes, "You guys belted up? There's no need for belts here. Hang on." And with a robotic whir, his arm grabs the gear shift on the steering column, shifts it into reverse, a robotic foot goes down, and he executes an immaculate sort of reverse turn and then begins gunning out of the rail yard away from the pursuers. Now, somebody a minute ago said, "I've never been in a chase before."
I have no idea who said that. Seriously.
You are now in a chase.
Woohoo.
So, Robohack is driving. However, somebody at various points in the chase is going to need to roll for him. Just to let you know, he has a decent enough land vehicle skill, giving him a total of 15. Now, this is a chase, and TORG has, funny enough, rules for chases. It's basically a dramatic skill resolution. Each step of the drama card deck represents a character or creature or vehicle's relative position in the chase. So if the hunter's on step A and the prey is on step C, the prey is ahead and close to escape. Essentially, if the person being pursued completes step D first, he escapes. If the hunters complete step D first, you are cut off, cornered, or otherwise forced to stop and fight. As you would in any other dramatic skill resolution, to advance to the next chase step, it must be available on the current drama card. Hunters or prey test a relevant vehicle skill test. Note that anybody that isn't driving can be taking and will be taking actions to account for whatever else you're doing. The difficulty number of each step is the top speed value of the fastest participant involved. Now, a roadster sedan has a speed, I've written it down before,
It's only 5 steps then.
4, A, B, C, D.
Yeah, so if we're on C, we just have to get one.
Well,
and
if
then
you
we-
were on C, you'd have to get one. But no, everybody, you're both starting essentially at A,
Okay.
or at not. You're starting at nothing really. The where's my Lampard vehicles gone? Yeah, the top speed value of these is a 12, which is fast. So just remember 12.
A question about parting shot. Could that be used? Like, does it affect only one enemy, or does it affect all of them?
It would be one enemy in particular, if I remember correctly.
Gonna go back and find the card. There it is. Parting shot.
Yeah. So the opponent, singular, may take one immediate action and then escape. It's
But-
basically so you can suggest that the main bad guy gets away.
Oh, right. Because it would be convenient to use it to like reduce the number of enemies or something.
You could do it for that. As I say, it's one enemy.
Could it be one vehicle?
I'm going to say no, because it's more fun if you have more people chasing you at this moment in time. That's going to be better off later.
Okay, I'll say it then.
So, as the car speeds out, RoboHack guns it through the rail yard, weaving between moving boxcars as he literally just switches across to the right. The car leaps into the air and literally passes through the opening of a slowly moving freight car. Can somebody please test for RoboHack by generating a land vehicles total against difficulty number 10?
If you got land vehicles, Alex.
Oh, you do a test for RoboHack. He's got a 15.
Okay, how do you test it?
So you can do it from your own character sheet if you use the option for test, and you can just put a 15 in the parameter and click the TORG roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he guns it through. We're not in the chase bit at this moment in time. So he's travelling over the asphalt and the gravel on the other side of it. You look to your side and you can see the three other sedans going along the other side of the train track, and periodically you can hear gunshots and pinging, but nothing's hitting the car at the moment because the train's in the way. And RoboHack seems to look around, and then his metal mouth opens up in a big grin, and he punches his foot down as he accelerates forward, and you realize that he's slowly moving across to the right, where there's another train heading down the track towards you. And there's a mad light in the robot's eyes as he again spins the wheel at the last second for the car to literally cut out in front of the oncoming train and get out of the way with a squeal of tyres. Generate another total. This is difficulty number 12.
We need that card.
Not yet. And again, your robot chauffeur executes that with panache. But then you look up and you realise that there's a dry stone, like air brick wall in front of you. And he just screams out, "Hold on, everyone!" and just punches through the wall. Give us one last one, difficulty number 10. It's not a problem for RoboHack, it would seem. And then he screeches the wheel round to the left. The car spins its back, going almost out of control until he drops off the gas and then punches it again, and the wheels kick. And then you're heading south down open road, heading towards the airfield, which you think is only about 15 minutes away. Unfortunately, as it roars down the highway, you're about 7 or 8 minutes away from the airfield when the cars that you thought you had lost suddenly pull out of a side road behind you. There is the staccato sound of gunfire. You all duck. A couple of the windows smash. You can see a bullet goes through the roof. Dr. Dick, you look up after hearing a metallic ka-ting, and you look up, and Hack is sparking and fizzling and exclaims to you, "They guts me! Those bums guts me! Up in 86th! Snafood!" And then his head drops as he obviously shuts down. However, the car is still doing 70 miles an hour according to the gauge, and the robot's heavy foot is still on the gas. This is where we begin the chase.
Yay.
So, unpleasant surprise. Luckily, there aren't any reality-rated villains. If there were, that'd be quite good. It's standard scene. So you guys are going first. Villains are going second. You are at the beginning of a chase. So A and B are the appropriate elements. However, the first thing that somebody's going to need to do before anybody can attempt a land vehicles check to try and pull away in the chase is to move the robot out of the driver's seat.
I can do that. I'll just push him out the door. Do that thing where the body goes out and flicks over and tries to hit the other car behind us.
Can do that if you want to. Just to let you know, Dr. Dick, you think it's repairable?
Hey, don't want to try to repair it.
Not right now, but
That's
with time.
perfectly happy.
Not right now, but just get it into the I don't know.
Did you just say it's not repairable?
No, it's repairable. I just can't do it right as we're driving now. Where do we put it? There's not really much space.
Well, he's roughly human-sized, so.
Can he be compacted?
You can drag him up and just put him in the back if you want.
Okay, we'll do that. Drag him up and throw him at the people in the back.
12.
Yep.
Look at you lot, you're on forward. So Dirac reaches forward, probably standing up because you've got enough height within the sedan for you to stand up without.
I'm in the front. I'm in the front. So.
Oh, and then you just drag him across to the side, and the car begins to swerve. Who is jumping into the front seat to take over? Land vehicles, I believe, is a dexterity skill.
I know who I'm voting.
Abraham or?
Who has the best land vehicle skill, though?
I thought Sam was the best one. This is his.
Land vehicle, I have 12, 10, and 2 in land. Dex 10 and 2 in land vehicles.
But you're only good, Alex, when you're a robot.
Yeah, probably.
Ryoka has land vehicles. Theo has land vehicles. Sam does not have land vehicles. Abram does not have land vehicles.
Don't believe in vehicle.
Dr. Dick does have land vehicles.
They aren't invented yet, right?
Yeah, but I'm not very good at it.
Okay, well, you can have me on the guns or on the wheels. But Theo's going to do it, or?
Yeah,
Jesus, take the wheel.
I love that. That's how the argument is finished. Ryoko basically yells back to Theo exactly that. Jesus, take the wheel.
There's the title for our
Ryoko,
film.
you can have a possibility for that one.
Okay, Jesus will take the wheel and get going on this hot rod.
Okay, well, the first point is, by all means, you can attempt, but it's going to be slightly more difficult this round, because as you position yourself and get into position and suddenly familiarize yourself with the car and working out, you look up and about 30 feet, maybe 40 feet, maybe a bit longer than that, you're going at 70 miles an hour, enough distance ahead that if you don't take action within the next few seconds, you're going to hit it, is a stalled truck. blocking most of the road. Its hood is open in the universally known sign for engine trouble, and you can see that on its back, corralled in by long wooden slats, is a large, overfilled cargo of what look to be melon.
These wooden slats, they wouldn't, they don't. They're not going to form some sort of ramp or anything, are they?
No, they're running sort of left to right. It's along the wall of the side of the truck. It's containing the cargo.
Never mind. Okay, so is there anything else around? Is there a curb or anything?
Not. The road has curbs on either side.
So I could hit a curb and go on two wheels to avoid it, could I?
Potentially, you could. I mean, there's enough space to get around. It's just a really hard swerve, and you want to keep control.
Okay.
Sure, we can describe it like that if you're doing it. Just so you know, as I keep hiccuping, this is a very hard land vehicles test in order to get around the truck before ploughing into several hundred pounds of watermelon.
Jesus is with us. I will swerve heartily, praying.
What's he going to do? Is he going to turn the watermelons into wine melons?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? You could say that fluffy cushions.
Perfect, yeah, torpedo.
Yep, land vehicles, difficulty number 16.
You were so close, but you didn't.
You rolled a 16. Obviously, that's going to require a possibility.
Okay, so here comes. Thank the Lord.
Now, remember, law of action. Whenever you spend a possibility, you could spend a second possibility and roll again and take the second roll if the first roll is not any good.
Can I ask you something? Card-wise, how are we working card-wise? Because we had 3 rules before.
You're in combat rounds now.
Okay, so I did a strength roll to throw someone in the back. Was that my turn?
Yep, that was your turn. So you can put a card in your hand. Pull from your hand.
I do have a supporter card if that would help.
Go on, Father Theo. Team was what you needed, because with a minimum of a 10, that takes you up there. So with just enough time to, you take off your St. Christopher briefly and hang it around the rear view mirror, and then just with an uttered prayer, you wrench the wheel down to the right and then quickly turn around to the left. And again, the back end of the car spins out slightly, and you manage to just scrape down the side behind you. Those of you that are in the back turn and see the back of the truck explode as one of the pursuing sedans just careened straight into, and not entirely through it, but it does appear the car has survived the impact. The other two gun around it and they're in hot pursuit. You are currently 20 meters away from one another. So fire combat can take place. It is a chase, so to escape them, or at least to get to your destination, you need to get the D. The other problem you've got, which is something that might occur to the driver otherwise, is the robot knew how to get to Al Fadrin Airfield. Do any of you?
You've been here, presumably, at some point.
So what's Rio doing? What's Sam doing? And what is Abram doing?
I'm firing at our
There are a significant number of targets within the vehicles behind you.
I'm going for the driver of the
crap,
nearest.
I forgot to put on the push to talk. Can I do a trick first on one of the drivers? I'm just going to point laser at his eyes.
Sure, that will make his one difficult. If you succeed. Yeah, that's not going to succeed.
I can't do
And
invisibility on that, can I? No.
No, you can't. And you were using a laser pointer, which is higher tech than the Nile Empire. If you were not a realm runner, you would have just disconnected, but you've used up your disconnection for this act.
Oh, crap.
Okay, that doesn't work. Ryoko. Your difficulty is going to be increased because of the movement of the car, but his dodge would usually be a 9, but his dodge instead is his land vehicles total, and he is attempting a land vehicle skill check. So your target number are going to be his land vehicle skill.
Can I play a card out of my hand?
You have done something, so you can put a card from your hand into your pool. Only
yeah,
if you could swap it with him.
I've got a transfer card, but it's out of my hand.
Yeah,
Well,
then if you've got anything in your pool.
It's not in the pool.
Yeah, you can only swap in combat. You can only swap from within your pools. Unfortunately, no chance right now. Alexander, the guy is swerving like a good un, so your difficulties to hit him are 18s.
A second chance definitely only personal use.
Jesus, keep it steady. I need to aim here.
Well, it's not him. Actually, Theo's doing quite a good job of keeping it steady. It's the guy behind you that's
okay.
weaving all across the road.
All right, let's. So where's fire weapon, right?
Yep.
Pew pew pew.
Almost a 1.
Almost a 1. Okay, let's.
Now, were you firing single shot or burst?
Single shot. I'm
okay.
aiming.
So your mishap range is not increased because don't forget a 1 to 4. Not just a disconnect. If you're firing a fully auto or semi-automatic weapon, you can get a mishap which will jam the gun, which requires an action to repair. And that can be on a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4, depending on how many bullets you're firing.
So I put in now. If I use
your skill in the first one,
okay,
and
so
then
that's
your die
15.
total, which was a 3 in the second one.
Oh, well, it looks like a 1.
Well, you lean out of the window and try to take an aim shot, and the bullet just goes wide. It ricochets off the top of the sedan behind you. Sam, Abram, what are you both doing?
I'll try to shoot one as well.
Okay.
Can I try to aim for like the front grille, the engine?
You want to try and damage the car? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, with an explosive shot. I don't know if it'll.
If you hit, are you firing a different one to Ryoko or the same one?
Is the one he shot at the closest, essentially?
Yeah, probably.
Because if there's one closer, I'd shoot at that one so that it might get in the way of the others.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's have a go. Let's roll the other guy's vehicle skill. Because he's going to have to roll this anyway to complete. Because in a minute, Theo, you're going to have to still do step A for this one. He has succeeded in step A, but so he's increased himself slightly. You've got it's a minute. It's an 11 actually, because it's essentially an active dodge. So you've got one that isn't weaving as much, and one that is weaving a hell of a lot. Your choice, which one you want to go for.
The one that's still.
Okay, difficulty 11 on your targeting roll then.
A bitch.
Wonderful. Now you are using your gun. Now your gun is the tech axioms of Nile Empire. Yep.
Do you have a card in your pool? Do you want to swap second chance?
But it's his first action. He won't have any cards in his pool.
No.
Your gun is also dependent on the world laws of Arosh, which means that unless the world laws of Arosh are in play, it's always a contradiction potentially. So Abram goes to take a shot. The gun doesn't fire, and you disconnect. Sam.
I was just trying to throw something at the car and not actually use my gun.
What's Sam doing? See if he can recover some honour in this first attempt.
I'm trying to work out how a portal works, and I'm wondering if I can portal either the driver out of the seat next to me, or else reach through and turn the steering wheel suddenly.
Yeah, you could do. You can. What I do that would be portal with an attempt to do a maneuver. So essentially, you're using your portal power to enable you to use maneuver at range. But yeah, that's a use, and essentially, the maneuver will result in you taking the car off the road.
Okay.
Now, at the moment, there are 3 pursuing you, but car A is currently under some watermelons. Cars B and C are the 2 that have been shot at. They have both successfully completed step A this round. So depending on how Theo does with his chase roll in a minute, they are currently pulling up to almost be alongside you, but that might change in a second. So you can decide which of those 2 you're going to try and take out with your maneuver check.
Sorry, does it make a difference? The nearest one, I suppose.
Not necessarily. One rolled an 18, the other one got a 10. That's all. Okay, so roll to use your skill, whatever you have to do for that one. I think it's a spell check, isn't it? However, it isn't contradictory for you. So it's just a fail. So, wow. Theo!
Seriously, ever since we got the statue.
The statue's nowhere near you at the moment.
Coincidence.
Actually, no, you've already made a drive check this round, didn't you? You got the 16. I'm not going to make you make that again. So, at the end of round 1, the night car is at step A. Goon car A has not yet made up any distance. Goon cars B and C are on either side of you. So now if you imagine the scene as you're zooming off down the otherwise open road now, you've got mob goons in cars on either side of you, and you can see they're bringing their machine guns, or the ones in the back are bringing their machine guns around to bear.
They got flurry.
Oh, they do have a flurry. Well reminded. Harmonious Alignment is the next one. They open fire. Thank you for reminding me there, Dirac.
I'm very honest.
So there are 4 of them in total. No, what am I talking about? There's 2 per each of you. So there's 2, 6, 8, 10, 12. So there's 8 of them in total. 6 of whom can fire, 2 are driving. So, yep, why not? 1 on each of you, because that's a nice sharing situation. So I need to know each of your dodges as they make fire combat rolls accordingly. So we will go across. Father Theo, what is your dodge? You are getting a little bit of additional armor from cover from the vehicle, unless they get a really good roll. So just hit. So some Thompson machine gun fire punches through. Now you're getting... The car's still got 3 wounds, so you're getting +3 armor against this. That's 14 damage. So your toughness, including armor, and then add 3 for, well, basically being in a car. So you take 2 shock. Your spirit. Yeah. Ryoko, what is your dodge?
13.
The bullets chew up the side of the car, but otherwise do not hit you. Sam, your dodge, please.
8.
Gun jams. Remember that. One of them's got a jammed gun. So there'll only be 5 potentially shooting at you next round. Dr. Dick.
11.
Close, but no cigar. That was off a reroll as well. 10 and a 1. Abram.
14.
14.
Durac.
Yeah.
13.
So they were all firing single shot because I didn't say they were doing anything else because otherwise they would have got bonuses. They'll do that next round. So, in addition, the driver of car number 1 is going to attempt to maneuver in such a way as to make Theo's task next round harder. In fact, they're going to do it together. So this is going to be a land vehicles check for them with a bonus because they're ganging up, and this is going to act as a maneuver against you, Father Theo. So what is your land vehicle skill, please? Okay, so that's a 5 up. They are going to make you very stymied. Okay, so on your next action for driving, you're at a -4. Well, you're very stymied regardless, but you're at a -4. Okay? So, second round. Harmonious alignment. All magic skills are favoured, but a failure causes double the normal backlash and leaves the caster vulnerable. Which reminds me, Kerry, Sam failed on doing a magic skill. In fact, you failed really badly on doing a magic skill. Which means you would have taken shock in terms of backlash. Let me just double check that it doesn't do anything different on a backlash. Yes, so this round, Sam, you took 2 shock. And you're also very stymied yourself as you failed your casting. That simply means whatever you're doing this round, you're at a -4. Okay? Heroes have a flurry. Villains go second. A, B, C, and D can be completed. Taunt is the approved action. What are you doing?
Do B.
Oh, that would be Theo doing B. But you don't have to do that.
I will taunt.
Please describe what you're doing. Do not just say, I will taunt. What
I was actually thinking of what I was going to say there. Sorry, I'm not that quick. I'm going to say, I'm going to shout out the window and say, I think you drive like like Bayoko slices up animals. Oh god, that doesn't even make sense. Let me rethink my taunt. I'm useless at taunts. I don't really.
But you're attempting to enrage him. You're doing it out of the right-hand side window or the starboard window, because the driver on that side is obviously closer to you. So you're basically screaming something offensive at one of the opposite drivers.
Couldn't you just show me a butt or something?
It would involve taking off his armor, and he doesn't necessarily like doing that.
Okay.
Their defensive taunts are 9s.
Right, I'm unskilled in this, it seems. I thought I actually had a skill point in this, but here we go.
It's charisma based because they're damn taunt. Oh, look at that. You rolled a 14, got a bonus number, and you're still only getting a 6.
What was the target?
9.
Okay, then I will use I will use a possibility.
There we go.
I was just trying to work out how to use a possibility. Right, that was 14 roll.
Die total 14 currently, and your taunt skill is 5.
Is it 5?
Well, you've got a bonus of 1.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It is 5. Right. So that's 514, isn't it?
Skill in the first one, die total in the second. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I did it!
You did it. Wasn't no, it wasn't enough to get a good success. Do you wish to make them stymied and vulnerable, or very stymied or very vulnerable? Stymied makes it harder for them to do.
Very, very, very stymied.
Okay, stymied. You will get your destiny card. Have a second wind. Okay, so the dwarf leans out, rolls down the window, doesn't disconnect while using the technology of rolling down a window, and then just screams something offensive at the driver. And he does seem quite shocked, thinking perhaps that the dwarf was about to leap across. He also swerves off to the right. So the right-hand car, the starboard car, is currently wheeling all over the road. Who's following Dirac?
I could wait.
While we're just doing that, I'm just going to roll his drive check. Oh, that didn't work. Yep, mishap. So he is not going to complete that. In fact, that car slides back on the mishap to step 0.
Do we know where we're going now?
Nope.
Why doesn't the scientist repair the robot's head and find out?
Well, we can stop and ask them for direction.
Have a possibility.
Someone rolled very badly there.
Right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I've got some bottles on me of.
I've got some bottles on me of.
Oh, sorry. I'll let go of the push to talk button. Of some spirits. They're not full, but they're not necessarily empty either. I'm just gonna throw them out the window to sort of make a bunch of glass shards to
make one of them more difficult. So yeah, that will count as a maneuver.
Yeah. Maneuver against the middle one.
Well, at the moment, you've got one car that's still pursuing you but has fallen back on the starboard side. Your port side has a car up against you, and right back in aft, you've got a car that's still extricating itself from melons, but is still in the race.
Okay, I'm going to take the one that's the closest then.
Okay, that will be car B on the port side. Oh, that's good. His land vehicles in this case would be a 10, which is what it's up against. So that is a choice of very vulnerable, very stymied, or vulnerable and stymied. Your choice.
I'm going to say very stymied.
Oh. Ryoko, Sam, Abram. Oh, Abram, let's do you next. Please make a reconnection check before we do anything else. You are currently in a dominant Nile Empire zone. Let me just double check that I'm doing that correctly. You might actually be pure in Cairo. Give me a second. What am I doing? I've got the map up there. Find Cairo on that one. I don't need the map in the book. Yep, Cairo's a pure living Nile Empire zone. I keep pushing the wrong button. I keep pushing the button at the top that makes it maximize rather than minimize. So that means that your reality skill check versus a difficulty number of 10 is subject to a -8, I think, in a pure zone.
-8?
Yep.
Oh,
you can
Seriously?
I tell you what, I'll be nice because you're in the outskirts of Cairo. Roll me a d6. On an odd number, you're still within Cairo. On an even number, you're in the dominant zone that's west of Cairo.
Oh, damn it.
So you're in the dominant zone west of Cairo. So it's only a -4.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Whew.
Yeah, odd numbers are always bad because ones disconnect you.
Oh, you're
never mind.
You can't use possibilities.
Yep. And you can't use possibilities because you're disconnected. But you can still continue trying to do stuff. You just can't do anything that would cause a contradiction.
Can I put cards into my...
Yeah, you can still play cards. You can't spend possibilities. Or anything that would count as a possibility, such as cards.
Can I ask you a question, Abraham?
Oh, no, Abraham.
Yeah.
Do you have a card in your pool?
I didn't think I could put one in last turn because I disconnected, but I guess I could, so I would have one now in my...
Because there's certain person who's got a reconnect card. I mean, he likes giving cards to nice people. You know anyone like that?
What would you like?
My reconnect card? Well, it has to be whatever you've got in your pool.
Well, I haven't got anything, but I could have put something in at the end of the turn.
You can't retroactively make
well, no, but I would have at the end of the turn. I just thought I could.
No, you would have.
What would you put? What would you put in?
All right. What I would have put in. Honestly, I'd probably put master planning first because I'd have, just in case somebody played something decent that I wanted.
Oh, that makes sense.
So master
so
plan.
I'll let John do
18.
the swapping then.
Yep.
Because John can do the swapping far easier than we can.
So delete the ones you no longer have.
You've now
Cool.
got Mercury, so you can use that anytime.
Can I reconnect them, please?
You can indeed. It does exactly what it
Yay!
says on the tin. Immediately reconnect without a test. So you're
Whew.
briefly panicked because all these weird sort of heroic ideals of drama and daring do overcome you, but then your dour, taciturn face returns, and everything is bleak and nasty and gothic.
You know what? I'm going to take that card.
Probably worth it. I'm about to roll a 1 again.
And then you can master plan and take reconnect back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I shouldn't have deleted my reconnect, but I just did. I mean, I'm going to find it in the images.
Just go further up the chat. So what's Abram doing as...
I'll attempt the same thing again.
Okay.
Shoot at the engine, or try and blow the engine up in the dramatic Nile Emperor style thing. Is it right in the Nile Emperor, where it's sort of like go 18, blow up, and everyone rolls out the car sort of thing?
It could do.
Or just roll a 1, obviously.
Again?
Did you roll a 1 again?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Not yet, however. Oh, for God's sake. I can roll a possibility, though. I can play a possibility.
Got so many explosive rounds.
Did the last one actually fire then?
Yep.
Okay, right. So I will spend a possibility.
It didn't fire, but it would have jammed, so the round becomes unusable because you've. In fact, you've got the guns jammed on a 1. So on top of everything else, the gun would have jammed.
Oh right. So okay. So I didn't fire this one then. How do I unjam a gun?
You've got to make a fire combat check with the difficulty number of 10, which you just failed.
Oh,
that's
I won't
why
spend.
you don't want to eat jam while you're making your ammo.
I'm being quite frustrated in the back of the car as I'm banging my gun and jamming it around. So I'm doing basically nothing.
Okay, Ryoko or Sam?
Yes. So this is the flurry second action, right?
This is your first actions at the moment.
Okay.
So mean you didn't unjam your car? Gun on me? Sorry, just
no, I didn't.
Okay, go ahead.
So well, I will just try again. Shoot for the driver of the nearest car.
Okay, single shot or rapid fire this time?
Rapid fire gives me.
Rapid fire will give you a +2.
Short burster.
Yep, a short burst. Yeah. But the function range goes up to a 1 or 2.
Yeah. So 3 rounds invested. A second.
It adds 2 to your total.
Where's my ammunition? Oh, there. All right, let's do this. Fire combat.
Not bad. So he was only on a 10 this round. So that's enough for a bonus die of damage. He is, however, also in a car. So his toughness is also up by 3 for the wounds of his car, giving him a toughness of 13 at the moment.
All right. So I think that's exactly what the gun provides, right?
Yeah. Mob gunmen, by the way, which is what these guys are, they have wound dash. So 1 wound will take him out.
16.
So that is currently doing 2 shock.
Only 2 shock?
If you can get it to an 18, it would do 1 wound and 2 shock.
Yeah, problem is I don't have anything.
Do you not have any? I thought you had. Oh no, that was with your katana, wasn't it? Not with your gun. Oh, the one time your Kai strike would have helped, and it's with your freaking gun.
I can throw the katana.
And you'd lose the katana. Probably not a good idea.
Okay, that's not.
It was still 2 shock. Well done, Sam.
I'd like to do what I tried to do last time.
Don't forget, you are very stymied, so it's 4 points harder this round.
Remember, it's the favorite you're not.
Yeah, but it is favoured. What that means is, if you get a shit roll the first time, you can roll again, but you have to take the second roll. So if you roll a 1, you can go, no, I'll roll again and hope to get better. Like that, you could go, I don't like a 6. Thank you very much. I'll do it again. I mean, you could get less than a 6, but it's also a better than average chance you get more than a 6.
I'll try.
Slightly better. What's the difficulty of the spell?
12.
Okay, so you've succeeded. Now, what that has enabled you to do, as those of you in the back of the car watch, Sam draw some arcane sigils, sort of Doctor Strange style, in the sky, and then he pulls his hands back, and a small, maybe 2-foot wide hole in space opens, and you can see a similar green glow coming from one of the sedans to either side, and you realise as you look through, you can see the driver, who looks shocked, to the right-hand side, and then you can reach through and you just wrench down on the steering wheel, assuming your maneuver check's any good.
Wait, that's a different check.
Yeah, different check. It's going to still be at -4, but your target are an 8.
Oh, okay. I thought the check was a spell check.
No, it's because you're very stymied. That's just in general.
Okay.
It'll go at the end of the go. So for your flurry action, you're not stymied.
Because I don't really ever want to do maneuvers. Deck space.
Actually, no, because you do it as one skill, so it would have the same die total, which would just rescue you from that one. So hang on, the bonus was a -2. So it's exactly what you got anyway. So what is your maneuver skill? So Dex plus any maneuver adds, subtract 2.
My maneuver is 0. My Dex is 7.
That's a 5. Yeah, you. I mean, it's impressive. You grab it, but the driver almost preempts what you're doing and just holds onto the steering wheel, and you curse him in ancient Egyptian from a language that comes from the back of your mind, and just release the wheel, and the portal closes. Nice try. Father Theo, you can just simply attempt your step B, difficulty number 12, or you can do something funky and attempt your step B, which would increase the difficulty number.
Can you do a step B in the first part and then step C in the third part?
I would say that's fine. You can do that.
Okay. You only have 5.
And you need a 12.
Would you like to Benny that, or not Benny? Possibility that.
I mean, you'll get another 7 minimum from your possibility, because if you roll under a 10, it will count as a 10, putting you from a 14 to a 24, which is a bonus number of 8 rather than a bonus number of 1, which will put you closer. Well, actually, it will make it. So let's see how well you can do it. Well, you'll get a 10 regardless, whatever you roll, which is enough to hit the 12.
There you go.
No, it should do. I think that's working out a bit weird. I think. No, I mean the first one was correct with the -4 land vehicles Dex. That put you on a 14, giving you a +5. So a minimum, the 14 would go from a 14, which is a bonus number of 1. That would go to a 24, which is a bonus number of 8.
Did you write it in right?
Yeah, I think you didn't write it in correct.
Yeah, it's 14.
Yeah, your die total's 14. Yeah, it's all right, because if you work it out, it does. That's a 12, A 3 counts as a 10. 10 onto your 14 gives you a 24. That's a bonus number of 8 rather than a bonus number of 1. 7 more than you've currently got. 5 plus 7 is 12. That's what you needed. Okay, so at the end of your first flurry round, Theo manages to take advantage of even the minor distractions from each side. And again, you just punch the accelerator down, and Sedan again pulls forward. So you've maybe got about a car and a half's length now between the three vehicles and yourselves as you're gunning down the road. However, as people have said, you still do not know where the airfield is. Thus far, you haven't seen any signposts on the road either. Hero second go for flurry. No one is any stymied or vulnerable any longer. Any of those conditions have expired. Who's starting?
Me.
Ryoko.
I'm doing the same stuff again.
Okay, so you know what your numbers are. Just go ahead and roll. I don't think your gun's going to have an issue with what maybe the 25 feet distance is for a sedan and a half's length between yourselves.
Can I play the one that keeps the current card?
Yeah, in a minute you can. When we go to draw another one, we haven't drawn another one yet.
Oh, we're flurrying, sorry.
Yeah. So the villains will get a go. Then rather than drawing another card, you can say, before you draw that card, John, we'll keep this one. Ryoko finally gets a decent aim on this fella. That is not enough to get 2 bonus die, but you're getting 1. You needed a 20 to get 2 bonus die. But that's still 1, so you're 13.
Well, I could play the adrenaline card.
You could, and that would give you 2 bonus die.
Yeah, let's do this to get this goon out of the way and this whole vehicle.
Hopefully. So that's actually a 7, because if it's a 2 and a 5, but you're re-rolling the 6. So roll another d6.
Okay.
That's 11 onto your 13, gives you a 24. 24, even versus his increased toughness of 13 due to the vehicle, is 2 wounds and 4 shock. As car B, its driver taken out, swerves off the road into the scrub. You can see its headlights bouncing up and down in silhouette off in the distance. It's not stopped moving yet, though. Well done. Who's following Ryoko?
Is there a way to help Theo with his rolls?
If you've got land vehicles.
I've got 0 land vehicles.
Then no.
Okay.
Or you could do a supporter card.
No, I was asking skill-wise, so I can't because I don't.
I mean, unless you can come up with another skill that could feasibly help him.
Just a second. What about a find to tell him how to go, or which way to go?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'll try that.
You're spotting out ahead. You can't see much.
I'll try and possibility it because I've got a skill in it, so a 10 and a 20 will do it. I'll do a possible. Not great at it, but
so skill in the first, die total of 4 in the second. It's going to be at least a 14, which would be a bonus number of 1, even if you roll badly. So that's enough for a good success. So you are able to point out some detritus in the road ahead. In fact, you spot slightly up ahead, there's a turning, which there's a sign on it. There's some symbols and a language you can't understand, but you point Theo towards it. Theo, you get a +2 on your next drive check. You can choose to take the route or not. It's entirely up to you. Who's following on to Dirac? Sam, Dr. Sanders, Abram?
I'll do that. I'm just going to take... I'm going to multi-target and shoot 3 of the people in a single car. By Uzi. Shot burst. That's -2.
-2 for. Oh no, it's a +2 for the short burst. Yeah, and then I see what you mean. So -2 then takes you down to a 0 for the second target. -2 takes you down to -2 for the third target. So you're basically holding your Uzi, and you're just spraying bullets all over the second car that's still chasing you, in the hopes of just hitting somebody within the cars.
Fleas in the front seat. Sorry, back seats.
I understand possibility on that.
Luckily, that is only going to be a jamming of your Uzi because you're doing short burst, aren't you? The jamming would be on a 1 or 2, not a 3. So close.
It doesn't have to jam 4. Yay! Good luck. You're using a possibility, you said.
Yep.
Who did said? Your targets are 10s on these.
And you got 4 in the second one. I don't know what your skill is in the first one.
That's not so great.
Oh, you hit, no bonus damage though. So what damage does the Uzi do normally?
13, but I'm going to do an action card to get +3.
Which would give you a 15, which would give you a bonus die.
Yep.
Not that many bonus die.
I accidentally pressed the wrong thing.
That's all right. We'll take the first one, so it's a 2. So that's a 15.
Yep.
So all of the denizens of Car C, all 4 of them, take 2 shock. So no, 3 of the denizens of Car C take 2 shock. Sam, Theo, Abram. Next.
I'll send a bullet at the nearest driver.
Okay. There's 1 driver left. Difficulty's 10s. I think the spellcasting check is the difficulty is his dodge skill, which in this case would be a 10.
Still, I'm not.
You are no longer stymied, but you are favoured. So if you get a crappy roll, you get to roll again. I mean, you're very good with this. It's up to you if you keep the 17 or not, because it's already a good success. It's still a good success. Because the dodge is a 10, so it's the bullet damage plus a bonus die, unless the spell says otherwise.
Not bullet. How do I work out bullet damage?
It should be listed in the spell. It's damage plus 1 BD, so bullet does 13. So it's target for 13 damage, and with a good success, you do plus 1 bonus die. So roll 1d. So the bullet punches through the windscreen, hits him upside the head. So you can now see there's like blood beginning to drip down the driver's head. He's shaking his head. He's quite woozy. He's taken 4 shock so far. So he's halfway to going unconscious. Abram.
Attempt to get my gun working again.
Okay.
We're going to try and unjam his gun.
Okay.
And he did it. Woo!
You could have done it as a multi-action if you declared it. And then there would have been a -2, but you cleared your gun. Theo, you're going to attempt your step C as your beginning. So give us a quick evidence analysis check as Durak brings your attention to the signpost up ahead. It's too dark, you can't really tell what it is. The dwarf's pointing you in one direction, you can continue on, you're getting the +2 to the drive roll regardless. It's up to you whether you take the hard left or continue onwards.
Or possibility it. Or possibility it. Why did you roll evidence analysis, by the way? Not
evidence analysis. This isn't his drive check. So your decision now, Skellen, only the information you've got. Do you want to go down the route preferred by Durack or continue straight down the road?
Oh, yeah. I am so excited about it. I don't know what I'm excited about, but I'm excited.
Make a drive check to N12.
Go that way. Go that way.
A possibility for the wonderful description of a sort of a Tokyo Drift style handbrake turn.
What was the time?
12.
12. So you only need 5. Only 5. You just got a new possibility. If your dice is 9 and your skill is land vehicles plus dex. Only 8? I was just wondering what your if your land vehicles is probably 1 then, is it?
That wasn't done right.
It's not done right. It's less.
Your skill should go in the first box. Yeah, you did. You need to do it on your just fill in your possibility check. So that's good enough. So you do exactly that, and in the brief second before you begin to gun down that road, when the headlights are illuminating the single signpost that you cannot read, it's in Arabic text that you cannot understand, but the clear silhouette of an aeroplane does give you possible cause to think
John?
You are indeed heading in the right direction.
John? You're on C now?
You are indeed.
I play my out of the way.
Right, okay. Out of the way.
Because they have to go backwards too, and they're only on A, they automatically have to do a dilemma or be KO'd.
Okay. So what does that actually mean in these terms? Just got to find the chase rules again. Because a dilemma would normally come up on the card line. But these guys are going to have to test for one. So they've basically, in this round, they have to make their skill check, or, well, in fact, all of them are going to have to make the skill check, or as you say, they'll all be KO'd accordingly. So first off, all of you guys get a possibility.
Yay!
You lot immediately go back to step A as well.
Hope these guys are all stymied and stuff.
The one of the mob gunmen, in fact, they are both still stymied because they haven't had a go since you made them stymied, so they're all rolling off TORG 6s. One of them isn't, but that's the guy that didn't yet have any steps on you anyway. So car C out in the desert fails, and there's a brief pause. The vehicle stops. And then there's a big and a fireball somewhere out in the scrub. The one that was still on the road next to you, some of the glass that Dr. Dick had previously thrown out had obviously gotten wedged in the wheels, and as it's been going on, it's been digging further and further into the tyre, and he gets a double front tyre blowout, and the car just goes into a spin.
How many cars are there?
There were 3. The large one, however, which is still a bit further back from you. You're not out of it yet, though.
Yes.
You're going to need to do a chase, but well done. Well played. So they don't make any tests to get any further because the 3 cars that were previously following you are now not following you. So, Oh, Dirac didn't do anything. That was completely meta. It's totally out of character. Something happened out of the way, and that happened. So it wasn't Dirac directly, but well done, the player of Dirac.
They were surprised at our shortcut. They all fell apart.
You're back at step 8. That is the disbenefit of this, because yes, you're possibly going in the right direction, but maybe this shortcut is a bit more difficult.
Before you did that card, wasn't Kerry going to play a card?
Say, Kerry, did you want to keep the card harmonious alignment up?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we won't bother with backs to the wall.
Good thing about that other card is it gives us flurry, so we can jump 2 advances if Theo passes.
So, are we out of combat now, or
Nope.
No?
Sorry, what did Kerry do?
He kept the current Destiny deck card, drama deck card in place.
With siege initiative. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Can I keep? Yeah, I also have the card. Can I hold it for next round again?
Yeah, as long as
it's
it's on your pool.
for one. Perfect.
If does someone with land vehicles want to help Theo so he can actually get his rules? Sorry.
So, Theo, you should have gotten a possibility along with everyone else for the play of Out of the Way.
Sure.
So, Theo, you should be on 2 possibilities again, not 1. And as you're gunning down a narrower road than you were before, and you can see off in the distance what look like the low lights of some kind of installation, you're not sure which, go ahead and still make the dramatic skill resolution check.
Do we wish to assist them? That's what I was asking. How many assists can you do on a person? 2, isn't it?
With the driver, it's going to be a bit difficult before you start getting diminishing returns. So I'd say at least 2 people could assist.
Well, yeah, backside drivers. That's what we're going to get. I think Alex is quite good at the things, but his dice rolls are iffy. So it's been good today.
Ryoko can certainly help. She has the skill land vehicle.
Sure.
Could you help with any other skill?
I also put my hands on the wheel.
Yeah, you can if you can work out how it would work.
How does helping work? Just make a land vehicle skill, or
yeah, you just make a roll.
Yeah, DN10 is your one, and if you get a standard success, you're adding a 1. If you're adding a good success, you're adding a 2. If you get an outstanding success, you're adding a 3.
That's a normal one, isn't it?
Yeah.
+1.
Let me show you how this is done.
Who wants to do the second one? I think Dr. Dick said he wanted to try something.
Yeah, I mean, if you can come up with a skill that could work. I mean, Dirac was doing it on a find.
I mean, I have an idea to do a thing with weird science, but it's probably not. Probably don't have the time.
Well, you could drive it. You could use science by representing the fact that you're quickly putting together some kind of nitrous boost or something like that.
Oh, it's not. I don't know. What I thought.
The car's been shot up with bullets as well, so you could possibly do some immediate MacGyver-style repairs or something else along those lines.
Perhaps you want to do some doctor games with the robot.
Yeah, that's the idea. Actually, I wanted to either try to fix it, or at the very least, like, see if I can connect my phone to its central processing unit and get some sort of navigation thing.
We'd have a Garwin or whatever we call them things. The map shows up, say, you go this way. You'll reach your destination in 20 steps.
Yeah, that sounds like perfectly fine if you want to do something like that. If you do a science check on the robot instead. I mean, to actually do the science check to get the information out of the robot is a higher difficulty number, but you could do that and blag the assist out of it as well, but it's a DN 14 science check. If you're doing the assist as well, you'll be getting a -2 for doing 2 actions. Still very much within the realms of spending a possibility or whatnot. You don't have to spend 2. You could do law of action applies.
I had spent. I had 5 when I was supposed to have 4. I think.
No, I think you would have been all right because you got a bonus 1 from the out of the way card. Anyway, go ahead and roll.
What do I get? All he needs to get 1, basically.
You literally got the 1 you needed. Yep, you do, and strangely, sort of you connect everything up, and a metallic robot voice comes up saying, "You guys better make sure you take the left turn to make sure you's heading to the airport. It's down the road." So you've sort of got like a Bronx-style sat-nav. Yeah, in like 50 yards. Hang hard right to get away from the bad guys and that sort of thing. So you gave a 3 bonus to Theo. So Theo, you can now make your first attempt to go back from A to B. And you're getting a +4 to this roll. Difficulties are still 12 because it's the car's speed that's determining that.
Ooh, good roll.
Okay, cool. Anyone else in the back? Are you doing anything else? So Abram, Sam, Durak.
Finally looked up and wondering where is everyone gone? Where are all those cars?
I don't need to do anything because there's nothing for me to do.
No problem at all. Second flurry action. So you're back at B.
I'll start moving cards.
Your sat nav go, "Hey, use the palooka in the control of the vehicle. Make sure to stay straight. Keep straight, yeah? Whatever they do's." You're not getting the same bonuses as last round unless people continue to assist you.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Sure.
Dr. Dick, you can make another science check with your assist to represent the sat nav. Okay, so that's a 1. That's only a +3 this round. But it's better than nothing.
As long as you don't make our car explode on us, I'll be fine.
Roll your land vehicles. You had to say it. You had.
No, I know. Don't know why. I don't know why I said it, but I felt this force make me to say it.
Right. So that is a critical failure in a chase.
Would you like a card?
Whoa. Chase?
So,
What kind of chase?
Initiated.
Don't do second chance. That's better than a reconnect.
Nobody's got anything better than second chance.
No one is chasing us anymore.
I know, but it's still a chase.
Oh, okay.
At the moment, there are others involved. You're just not aware of them yet.
So what's that do? Is that just a reroll?
Second chance is a reroll.
I say it.
Yep.
Put
There's
plus
no
3
way you
in.
can roll 2 ones.
Oh, you said it as well.
Yes. Go Theo. Go Theo.
Don't. Let's all stop the talking. No more talking. Let's all ban talking.
No, it isn't. It's exactly 1 in 20.
It's definitely less than 5%. It's dropped way off now. It's like minuscule. Yeah, absolutely.
It's either 5%, 1 in 20, or it's 1,000,000 to 1, and you know what happens in dramatic situations when it's 1,000,000 to 1 shot. So go ahead and roll.
Oh, 2 1s.
Have you got a card in your pool?
Got a supporter card you can get as well if that helps.
Oh, you got a support card because I have an adrenaline card and I can swap it with him.
Supporter is easier though.
Okay, do your.
Okay, so
support
there's
then.
a few seconds where, for some unknown reason, in the middle of essentially doing like 60, 65 down an open road in a straight line, Father Theo pops the clutch and takes it out of gear, and then there's some very nasty, grindy noises as he's desperately trying to get it back into gear at high speed. There's a very brief moment where any of you that have actually got land vehicles see Theo panic slightly, push the release on the gear stick and try to shift it into reverse, which at high speed is not going to do good things to the engine. But in the last minute, he seems to wake himself up and just puts it back into fourth. There wouldn't be a fifth gear on a car of this age. And then you continue heading down. You're back onto step C. Out in the desert, the villains do nothing.
Did someone else want to play? They keep this.
I am about to draw another drama card. Would you like
Let's
to
see
see
what it
anything
is.
else in the meantime? If I draw another one and you see what it is, your only choices there are to force me to draw another one. You can either keep the current one before I draw, or draw another one after I draw.
That's to you, Alex.
What?
Alex, are you there?
Do you wish to use your season initiative to keep the current card,
Yes,
or do you
yes,
want to
yes,
draw a
sorry.
new card? Okay.
No, we want to keep that one.
Okay, so the harmonious alignment. Oh, by the way, all of this time, what's basically been happening is up in the heavens, invisible to almost all of you, apart from the restless ancient spirit that dwells beneath Sam's amygdala at the back of his hindbrain. Jupiter and Saturn are in alignment with one of the moons of Venus, and the energies that are suffusing the area in the moonlight are what is creating this lengthy harmonious alignment, the largest planet in the solar system involved. So let's keep it simple. Just you see the lowered wooden gate of what passes for a security point on the airfield ahead of you, and you gun it through, Theo. So people may be assisting you, but it's going to be a land vehicles check to get to step D.
I was thinking about. I was typing this. Which should assist you at this stage, and if you fail it, I'm going to use my flurry to use my skill unarmed combat to hit you. Just thought I'd put that out there. Do you want to do your rolls again, guys? Because I can't. My ones are just very weak. My ones seem to be in reality and scholar.
Just to add a little bit of peril at this point, I will point out that the engine is sounding quite screamy at the moment. Anybody looking out the back, you can see that there is smoke beginning to pour out of the back exhaust, and a couple of times in the last few seconds, Theo, you've had to put the wipers on because there's some black filmy liquid is just periodically spewing up and splashing up onto the windscreen. This car is not in good shape. So is anyone assisting Ryoko with a land vehicles check, Dr. Dick with a science check?
I'm assisting again.
Good one.
Nice, getting a +1.
I'm just keeping out of the way. That's where I'm.
Dr. Sanders, you doing a science check or not?
Don't forget to push the talk button if you're talking, Badger.
And don't forget to keep bailing if there's more water than air in the compartment you're currently sat in.
You got an 11.
Okay, so it's a +2.
Is that so funny?
I think it's obviously it's the image of you sitting with him, kind of playing around the computer. However, water inevitably falling up your chest.
Yeah,
You're like,
it's pretty
this
funny,
is
isn't it?
fine. Okay, you're getting a plus 2.
Do this. I don't think you've got any ways out of this time.
Yep, just
Yep.
the 2.
Only 2 people can help you.
Okay. So we transfer to scene 3. So, by the way, scene 2 was the one you were in. Well, it's not an Uber, but ... So, scene 3, as the crow flies, you punch through the simple wooden gate that is attached to the guard booth at Al Badira Airfield. It's a small installation surrounded by a chain fence, one of numerous small airfields scattered around the Cairo Giza municipal area. It's a civilian facility, though, for instance, as it is right now, it is looked over by a handful of Nile shock troopers. You know this because as you crashed through the barrier, the single guard that was sat in the guard booth stands up, and in the brief light passing through, you see the telltale headdress and naked to the waist down, waist up, sorry, waist down. That'd be a much worse uniform. Naked from the waist up, shock trooper, who seems to be scrabbling for his gun as you gun the vehicle into the centre of the airfield. Within here, you notice a series of Fokker Ramses and DC-3s lined up on the tarmac near several hangar buildings. You're driving the vehicle past them. Everybody make find checks.
Are we still in this scene? Do we have to roll
No,
past
you've
here?
shifted.
Oh, okay.
New scene now.
Okay.
It's only difficulty number 8.
Woo, that's a good roll for me.
You all see it at the same time. One of the Ramses is looking a bit shabbier, but it has the Regis Charter logo and colours on it. Apart from the sound from behind you and the sound of your engine, the field seems otherwise quiet at this point in time.
Who didn't roll?
No, it's fine. You all spotted it. And the important one was Theo spotted it. So
Okay.
Theo can gun directly to the plane if needs be.
Theo hasn't rolled yet.
I was also wondering how you spotted it when he didn't roll.
15. I thought it was land. Oh, that was land vehicles. Oh no, it was only an 8, so he spotted it as well. Like I said, there are a total of 4 of these style of aircraft and 2 DC-3s, but the one that you're heading towards, with the emblazoned Regis Charter logo on the side of it, is there. It's one of those planes. It's not big enough to warrant a set of stairs to come after it. You can just go over to it and you open the door folds down and stairs go up. This does appear to have seen better days, however. As you barrel yourselves in, and while you know you've got a couple of minutes before the guard gets over here, you haven't got an awful amount of time. So if you give us an evidence analysis quickly.
Who?
Not skilled
All
in
of
it.
you
So
as you're going around.
not sure if it's on the list of ones you can't use.
Air vehicles.
I don't know who's got their vehicles. I know someone has it. Some skills don't say the skill for some reason.
Yeah, Ryoko and Dr. Dick have both got at least one ad in air vehicles.
Yeah, Ryoko would be better though because she has higher decks.
Mm-hmm.
So, evidence analysis, we've got a 6. Durac and Father Theo, you just look around, try and find yourself a seat. Sam and Ryoko, you don't have to do air vehicles yet, Ryoko.
Okay.
And Abram, you spot this as well, but you're not understanding a lot of it. Sam, Ryoko, Dr. Dick, between you, you do a quick itinerary. You find a first aid kit riveted to the floor behind the pilot's chair. Riveted to the floor behind the co-pilot's chair are a flare gun box with 10 flares. There are parachutes beneath the pilot and the co-pilot's chair. There's a flashlight, a lighter, 4 spare batteries, and in a pouch next to the pilot's seat, Sam, you find a map with the coordinates for the mission. The map shows a mountain called Jebel Musa, located in the southern portion of the Sinai Peninsula. Can anybody with Scholar make a Scholar check, please? It's slightly more difficult than Durac Scholar check achieves, because this is core Earth scholarly stuff here. Theo, you could make a faith check on this. At the moment, Dr. Dick's got it.
Wow, Theo.
You're really... I'm going to give you a reroll on that, considering what this is.
That's called the sympathy roll. Oh my god, I got it again! Stop!
For some reason, the Catholic priest, with 5 ads in faith, a high spirit, and a couple of perks that mean that he has studied, and he's having a bit of a difficulty recalling the importance of, or the relevance, according to the Bible, of Mount Sinai. Dr. Dick, however, you cast your mind back to Sunday school, the 3 times you went, and the story of Moses. It is believed that this is one of the most likely spots of the Mount Sinai of biblical faith. Sam, as you're looking, it's a circle drawn on the mountain in what would be the equivalent of Nile Empire red Sharpie, with the words "break up the ritual" in big caps scrawled next to it. It's a 400-kilometer flight from the outside of an airfield, and you can hear screaming shouts from the individual guard who is crossing the airfield behind you. Your faith is in question on the phone, yes. It seems that it would be time to take off. Who is flying?
I love the special robot voice you were doing there. It was fun.
It wasn't just me, it could.
Yeah, I was losing that a lot there. It's all right. I thought it was me.
Okay, I'll repeat that. So, did you hear a bit about what's on the map? Or am I still going robot?
You're still doing the little robot. All I heard was there's a plane, and then that's the only bit I got out of the whole conversation. I'm not. Can you hear me okay, Alex?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's just John, I think.
you sound like yourself, but otherwise you're fine.
All right. Okay. So yeah, we lost him. Oh, he's come back.
How about now?
Fine. It takes a while for it to kick in.
How about now?
You're getting iffy.
Testing.
Yeah, it's a little better.
Are you downloading anything in the background?
Nope. We're right at the end of what we're doing for tonight anyway, so as long as you can hear me at the moment. Who's flying?
Oh, we know who's going to be flying.
Yes. It's Theo.
with Dr. Sanders as your co-pilot. You go through your pre-flight checks quickly, start the engine. It's a propeller-based craft, so there's a few nervous moments as the propellers don't start and the engine doesn't kick in the first time, but then second, third time, you're fine. You taxi along stormtrooper with his rifle raised begin to start firing, but you've already got too much. And you leave the runway and begin banking around to the correct flight vector when all of you hear the anti-aircraft gun that you were elsewhere on the range opening up on you with the intent of bringing your plane. Also, who got the highest evidence analysis on the first bit?
We failed evidence analysis? Me?
Got the highest.
Oh, the highest. Okay, wait a minute.
I think there might be Dr. Dick on that one.
Highest what?
No, Sam.
Evidence
Right, well, that's
analysis.
good because in addition to that, Sam, you're on the other side of the plane to that. You look out of one of the port windows and you see 3 or 4 bursts of flame, quite intense blue flame, as what looks like 4 individuals wearing stylized jet suits take off from one of the other warehouse buildings and begin to head in your direction. Being a native of the Empire, you know Scarab warriors. These were developed by Mobius back in his time on Terra, which is where they all come, as a direct counter to the Rocket Rangers of the Mystery Men. And as you begin to climb, taking dexterous steps to avoid the Akak fire and the essentially jetpack wielding bad guys that are coming towards you, that's where we'll leave it this week.
Yeah, your voice came back.
Did you hear everything toward the end there? I don't have to repeat anything?
Yep, I heard it.
Yeah, I think
Cool.
we can.
You said something about the Scarab things flew into the AK fire and blew up. And
that never happened. You misheard me. You misheard me.
But the part where we got the XP was correct, right?
I
Well,
must.
the XP would be at the end of the act, which you've not gotten to yet.
I must say, this has been the bad luckiest roll I've ever seen in our games.
But that one,
How many
followed by
roll
one,
ones?
and the one earlier, that was
I know,
terrible.
but yeah, ones all over the place.
How many ones do we roll? At least 4.
I'm sure he rolled some.
I rolled 2.
John
3.
rolled some too.
I rolled
I rolled
1.
a couple. Abram rolled 1. Dr. Dick rolled 1. So it's at least 7, I think.
I just have to laugh at
Sam rolled 1,
but
but didn't disconnect because he
double.
was doing some magic.
He just backfired or something, isn't it?
Yes.
I just love that out of the way card. That was actually pretty good because it made that so easy.
Yeah, and it
though-
was going. I mean, obviously, I didn't stack the deck to make sure you got it, but getting it when you're about to do your first chase, well done on the chase, despite some really crappy rolls in the first rounds there.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Same time next week as you have to deal with your current peril, and then head off towards a location of religious significance.
I see. Skell didn't remove the thing from the last week's broadcast where he says I'm the best person ever, so I'm happy.
I think either Jesus behind the wheel or Jesus is your co-pilot or something appropriate like that would be a very good episode title, considering.
Jesus says no.
What would Jesus do? Brackets, roll better, close bracket.
Aaron Jesus.
Yeah, Orange Jesus, yes. And no, the Statue of Bad Luck isn't a Statue of Bad Luck, but anyway, it's not in his backpack regardless. So.
That's how I remember it, because that's what you said it was causing problems
Weirdness.
around the But it seems with our thing, I think he snuck it in with us the way it's
Possibly.
going. Okay, guys, I'll see you next week, and I will see some of you tomorrow.
And what I'll do, I'll try and arrange if we try it with Unity next week. I'll run some tests in the week between here and then, so that we can get the details sorted.
Yeah, I'm not sure I have. Well, I'll see if I have enough space on my hard drive though, because yeah.
It's like 50 megabytes or something. Yeah. I don't
50
think
megabytes? Is it huge?
No.
Oh, it's not huge. Okay, so it's
That's what she said.
I'm in the red, so I
do some cleaning up then.
Yeah, clean up your hard drive.
I've tried to do that, but like
you buy an external hard drive and just copy stuff over to it.
Yeah,
but
all those flicks.
The thing that's taking up so much space is Skyrim and all the mods I have. Maybe there's some I haven't deleted. I don't know. But no, I have 43 gigs free. So yeah.
Oh god, that's. Oh, have you got? Can you fit another hard drive into it? Are you a laptop?
It's a laptop.
Yeah, it's a laptop.
Oh, laptop. Okay. Yeah, only a few.
Computer.
Only a few laptops can have a second hard drive. I don't know if your one is the capable kind.
I don't think